Hi guys and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be analyzing three crosses like the euro dollar, the US dollar Japanese yen and the euro against the Japanese yen under a mere technical point of view. We will then move our attention to study to analyze the Tesla stocks and then to cryptos like Binance coin and Solana. Let's start with the euro dollar on a monthly basis, which means that every candle is a monthly one. The euro dollar, historically speaking, moves in perfect cycles of 16 years approximately, with 8-9 years for the ascending phase and 8-7 years for the descending one. Now, the last point of low was in 2002, which means we actually expect we have been experiencing a point of low around 2018. Now, if we analyze the Magnus cycles and we focus our attention on the white curve, we see that actually we see a bullish divergence. In fact, what we see here is that right now the white curve is above the lower threshold, while before was actually below the lower threshold, while the price has been hitting a point of low. So I've been writing several reports for my patrons where I've been warning about the possible change in the trend, which means I do believe the descending phase for the euro dollar is over. What we should be expecting over the next months. I do believe the euro will be appreciating itself against the US dollar, and if we analyze, technically speaking, the cycles here, we see that we can actually detect higher highs and higher lows, which means that over the last 50 years, the euro has been moving inside an ascending channel against the US dollar. So most probably the point of low has been hit actually this year, and I believe we are going to experience over the 2023-2024 a strong movement upwards till at least 1.20. Now for the next 6 years, since I believe the new cycle started in 2018, for the next 4 or 6 years, I believe that the euro is going to appreciate itself against the US dollar till hitting at least the area between 140 and 160. Okay, now let's move on and let's analyze the US dollar against the Japanese yen. As you can see here, we have a daily chart where I've been posting an ascending and oblique support. I've been writing several reports for my patrons. I've been actually warning them that the US dollar was going to retrace strongly against the Japanese yen, and actually that seems to be happening right now. After hitting a point of high at 150, right now I've been retracing till 139. I was suspicious about the current movement upwards for the US dollar Japanese yen based on the volume analysis. Here we see a spike in volume actually in June 22, same here in November 22. Also, the Central Bank of Japan has intervened several times in order to appreciate, to sell US dollar and actually buying Japanese yen. Okay, so now if we switch our vision to the weekly chart, we will have a better view of what we should be expecting over the next weeks and months. Okay, this is a weekly chart, which means we can forecast, we can project our analysis into the future for the next couple of years. Again, here we see the break of the oblique support, and I've been writing to my patrons that actually once we see, and we try to zoom in a little bit, when we see a movement, a run above the ascending, above the superior envelope, actually we are inside a movement, we are inside an extreme scenario, we are inside an extreme situation. Okay, that's why I was expecting a break. Actually, the very first target will be around 130-128. I've been once actually the US dollar Japanese yen was running around 145, I was calling a break till 139, and actually that was a great call because the US dollar Japanese yen moved something below 139. from here, I believe we will see some movement up to retest this area, so could be 143 probably. From there again a new movement downwards. Okay, so very first target over next month, so over 2023, very first target it will be at 129, where actually we see these candles breaking above the upper envelope. Okay, so once we see this movement above the upper envelope, actually we should be expecting the price retracing till at least this level. Actually, it's the same that happened with Tesla. When I was warning my patrons that all over the 2021 that movement wasn't sustainable, actually I was expecting a strong breakdown for the Tesla stock, which actually is happening during the late 6 months of 2022. Now let's move on. Let's see actually where we are in terms of the US dollar currency index, the DXY. Okay, what we see here in terms of cyclicality is that actually the red curve is crossing below the azure one, which means that we should be expecting a downwards movement. As we can see, there is a certain kind of cyclicality. Okay, in this case, we saw a bearish divergence because the azure curve was below this level, but here we have seen a new point of high. Okay, so again, I do believe the US dollar currency index will be moving down and actually will be underperforming the euro and both the euro and the Japanese yen over the 2023. Now let's very fast move to analyze the euro Japanese yen, where I'm still very bearish. I would like to give some targets over next months. Even in this case, we see a bearish divergence, so the price is moving up, but we see here that the azure curve is still below this point of high. So very first target in 2023, beginning of 2024, will be at least this area 129, 130. Okay, so from 145 till 130, there is a lot of room for our profits. Let's move on and let's analyze Tesla. With Tesla, actually, I've been on very short since 2021, when the price kept going up. Right now we are breaking below the 180. Now if we analyze this rectangle between 300 US dollar and 180, which give us 120, 180 minus 120, give us a target at around 60 US dollar, which actually is my target that I've been giving out to my Patreon. Okay, now let's move on, let's analyze two cryptos, Binance Coin and Solana. For Binance, we are inside actually a rectangle between 400 US dollar and 200 US dollar. The 200 US dollar threshold, the 200 US dollar area needs to be monitored very, very extremely carefully. Okay, because if we break below 200 US dollar, we are definitely going to move till zero. Okay, and my idea is that we might experience over the next weeks, next months, a break below this area, which means the Binance coin is going to move zero quite fast after breaking below this area. Okay, with the very first target around this area, which I assume is around 50 US dollar. Now if we analyze the MACD, the MACD, we see that actually we are still in a bullish scenario, but once we will see the blue curve breaking below the orange one, then it will be quite problematic, because the MACD is quite a good indicator when it comes in terms of originating an entry level, while it's not that good when in terms of exiting. Okay, now let's move on and let's analyze Solana. For Solana, I have a clear idea. Actually, Solana will be moving till $4 over the next days. Obviously, those are my target price. Okay, which means obviously it's my analysis. You can have a completely different idea, and obviously you will trade on your own and you will take responsibility for your trading. Okay, right now it seems it is not working anyway. Okay, here you are. Solana right now is moving around the area between 13 and 14 US dollar. But the most important thing is that we have broken below the 20 US dollar. So right now there is space still 4-5 US dollar, which means I really believe over the next weeks we're going to see Solana moving down till 4-5 US dollar. Okay guys, if you want to receive our real-time alerts, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys.